NMSU's Arrowhead Center and Office of the Vice President for Research are pleased to announce the 2020 NMSU Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. This award recognizes outstanding achievement in entrepreneurship among alumni representing colleges and disciplines across the NMSU system. The Entrepreneur Hall of Fame honors graduates who have launched successful businesses, introduced innovative entrepreneurial concepts and practices into workplaces, those who have contributed to the entrepreneurial climates of their regions. This event celebrates those achievements and contributions. Now, the first person I am delighted to introduce is Kathy Hansen. Kathy is the director of the Arrowhead Center. And now, Kathy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Garrett. It's my honor to kick off this celebration of Dino as this year's inductee into the NMSU Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. I wish we had all been able to get together this year to do the celebration, but I want to thank you all for joining our virtual celebration. And I want to thank especially the regents that have joined us this evening. We had many nominations for this year's Hall of Fame, and our advisory council picked Dino to receive this year's honor. Dino is a graduate of our business college and runs Cervantes Enterprises, a large farming operation and a chili processing facility. NMSU created the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame to recognize alums who succeed as entrepreneurs and demonstrate an entrepreneurial spirit by running thriving businesses, creating new jobs, contributing to their communities' economies, and making a major impact in their industry. Entrepreneurs also exemplify unique traits, attitudes, and skills that inspire the people around them, modeling creativity, resiliency, and an intrepid spirit. Dino has these traits in abundance. I want to thank Dino for his time and investments in our Aggie Shark Tank events, serving as one of our sharks and helping our student entrepreneurs. I have observed that Dino sees challenging situations and asks, how can I help? He views problems as opportunities, he's focused on solutions, and he does all of this with a spirit of optimism and adventure. He's an asset to all those he encounters, from his employees and customers to the institutions, regions, and economies he touches. Dino, we're really honored to be able to bring light to your accomplishments. And now, to share more about Dino's career and contributions, I'm pleased to introduce NMSU's Chancellor, Dan Arvisou.
Thank you, Director Hansen. And let me just say, Dino, I'll be one of many to say congratulations. We are so proud of you, and there are so many reasons why you are just an absolute optimum pick for the Entrepreneur Hall of Fame, and we just love the idea that we get to celebrate with you. We missed you at the Regent Board meeting, but we have Regent Hicks here who will follow me, and she'll say a few words on behalf of the Regents. And they had some sort of crazy celebration there planned for you, so it's probably good you missed that one. And at the same time, we can focus more directly on all the great things that you've been doing, and you can tell us the story after we're done here about what you were doing, why you couldn't come to that Regent meeting, and that was obviously something that was unavoidable. Let's see. I think, gosh, I've gotten so many things to say, and let me just start with, what we like in our entrepreneurs is that they are people that are, not afraid to roll up their sleeves. I love that picture of you back when you were standing in the field. You look like one of the farm workers there. But I'll tell you, I know that is your heart. That's where you live and how you do things, and that just speaks to certain servant leadership. So just for all of the folks here on the Zoom. So Dino is Vice President of the New Mexico Chili Association. He's President of the Chili Pepper Task Force. I love that Tabasco tie, by the way. That's a really great one too.
I can get you one.
Yes, I'm a huge fan. I would definitely use that one. Member of Las Cruces Business Forum, the New Mexico Chihuahua Commission on Economic Development, the Las Cruces Business Forum, which is a governor-appointed position. Obviously, the head of Cervantes Enterprise, Inc., and Cervantes Agribusiness, and the co-founder of our NMSU Chili Pepper Task Force. Dino is internationally recognized for production, processing, technical fundamentals in agriculture. Obviously, a strong business sense in the way in which that business has grown and become really the dominant in the field right here in New Mexico, which we're so proud of. And none of these kind of things happen without, impeccable and remarkable customer service. And I think that clearly is one reason why that continues to be just a wonderful business that gets these international acclaim. In Las Cruces, the expanded plant operations brings more business and jobs in our area. The innovative ways of increasing the production and processing and all of the things that relate to development and environmental growth of farming and all of the things that you've had to go through over time has been absolutely exemplary. And for many of us, we've had the opportunity to come and visit both the plant and those things around the farm. And I've seen firsthand personally, I love that photo that up there on top of the mash tanks. I think that's kind of that's a must have. Everybody's got to have one of those. And I think I have mine. So I'm really pleased about that. My photo with Dino at that particular location is essentially a photo op for most. And I was impressed, Dino, when I went there, because you had masks before masks were popular. Before everybody had a mask. And that's because when you go into the chili plant and they do the processing, I mean, the actual air that you breathe is very, very rich with chili peppers. And for those of us that still have some level of sensitivity left in our noses, it's very hard to take. You got to have a mask. But Dino walks around without a mask anywhere. But I know he's probably not wearing more masks than he ever has before. So that's actually a very interesting turn of events. Dino has made significant contributions really in the technical areas as well. Water contributions, really, I think, innovator for resolutions of how we start to address some of the water shortages that we have in New Mexico. And I think water conservation and those kinds of things, Dino has become a champion of those, something that will be incredibly important going forward. I was also impressed with the manner in which Dino describes how that business was grown, and specifically tributes to his dad, literally the entrepreneurial innovation spirit that was alive in the family. I love the idea that just common sense engineering was kind of a key element of, I think, how that business has been developed. Dino gives back tremendously. Kathy mentioned it, supporting our young entrepreneurs, really being a mentor and an advisor to students, consulting, and really one of the original members, as she's already mentioned, with the Aggie Shark Tank, which again, wonderful activity that we look forward to every year. So in closing, Dino, let me just say, I am so personally proud that you're one of our alums, that you represent our institution incredibly well. You do so much for our community, for our state, for New Mexico State University. And I just appreciate you and just pleased to get a chance to congratulate you on this wonderful honor, well deserved, Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. And it will be memorialized now for the future, so that people understand kind of the level of contribution that our Aggie alums can make. So congratulations, Dino, and I look forward to hearing more about that, those other exploits that you've been about over time. So Kathy, I'll turn it back to you. Thank you.
We'd now like to introduce Regent Deborah Hicks. Regent Hicks, you have the floor.
Thank you, Garrett. Good evening. It's my pleasure on behalf of the Board of Regents to celebrate with you, Dino, as the 2020 inductee into our NMSU Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. It's such an exciting time here for NMSU. I celebrate your family. I've come to know all of you. And one of the hardest things it is for me to recognize is being a shark. You are such a quiet leader and a quiet individual. within the bounds of outside of family. And I just don't associate you with being a shark, but I do truly, and the Board of Regents recognizes you as the entrepreneurial spirit. For us and for NMSU and for Aggie Land, you're a highly respected voice for New Mexico chili across the world. You reach across the world with your products and your voice. And I recognize that you have the entrepreneurial DNA. It comes from your father as an engineer, and as a man in his early stages, he was able to pivot from farming to food processing, and that's inherent in your genes, and we all love to see it working. As I said, you have worldwide recognition. You speak for not only the Aggies, you speak for chili producers, and you speak for farmers, being a fourth generation family in farming. I too was an individual that was called home to the family enterprise, and we're on our third generation. Michaela now working towards her license in land survey. Maybe we'll be the fourth generation. Not quite there yet, but it is such a wonderful opportunity for the Board of Regents to celebrate you. And while we're on that, you can tell us that story about why you missed your party.
Yeah, and I apologize, especially to Regent Devastali. I know she had a plan. I'm not quite sure that it was a bad thing that I missed it from the sound of things. So maybe not. But yeah, unfortunately, you guys probably read a lot about it in the news or heard about it in the news. But that morning of the Regent meeting, there was a 12 rail car derailment, and it was on our rail siding. So we almost had 20,000 gallons of pepper mash spilled across the highway. It came within about 50 feet of that. I didn't know it at the time, but that's basically where I was at when that meeting was going on. So I'm truly sorry that I missed that. I wish I could have been there. Other than having the nightmare that could have been in front of me, I surely would have made it. But again, I apologize for that. But yeah, it is, 2020 has been strange and is getting stranger all the time. So we'll just chalk that up to a bad year and move on.
Well, it's neither a good thing or a bad thing that you missed it. We missed you. We missed celebrating you. And we're here tonight celebrating virtually in our Hollywood squares. But truly, we want you to know that we deeply appreciate your commitment to your alma mater, to New Mexico, the citizens of New Mexico. And I know that you will continue to support New Mexico State University and the farm producers in the state of New Mexico. So thank you. Congratulations from the bottom of our hearts. You are definitely an entrepreneur, an Aggie entrepreneur. Thank you all.
Thank you, Regent Hicks. And now the reason we are here celebrating Dino Cervantes. We'll keep the floor open for you.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you, Regent Hicks. And the other regents in the room, I see Regent Devastali. There could be others that I am missing here. And I want to thank everybody for coming this afternoon. I appreciate you taking the time out. Typically, I don't believe that agriculture or food processing is the first thought that comes to mind when people are thinking about innovation or entrepreneurship. I'm assuming that most of us go directly to new technology and maybe some of the new software programs that are out there or new engineering opportunities that are out there. So I really appreciate the fact that Arrowhead and New Mexico State University is recognizing agriculture. I'm the representative today, but there are many families around the region that this could apply to. Typically family owned and operated operations that have been around for a while. And our innovations maybe are not the ones that garner a lot of attention, but I will tell you that there is a valley full of agricultural innovators that you can be proud to put up against anybody in the world. And so again, I wanted to start there because I I do honestly appreciate that, and I'm hoping that that you'll continue to look forward and try and understand some of the innovations that are going on in the agricultural industry. Saying that, I think I also certainly want to thank Kathy and all the administration at Arrowhead. The programs that I've been involved with are certainly much more enjoyable to me than I could ever express. And Shark Tank being one of them. I did not garner the title of Mr. Wonderful, but I'm still working on that one, maybe. So, but obviously very enjoyable, and very impressed with the environment that's created that promotes imagination and entrepreneurship in your young students and the people on campus. I can certainly appreciate if a program had existed like this in the time that I was at school. You know, continue to go forward, and certainly the larger campus administration, Chancellor, you and the people there and your predecessors have always been very supportive of Arrowhead, and I'm hoping that will continue on, and that we'll look for opportunities to expand some of the things that they're doing. So I certainly want to recognize that, and you know, on behalf of business people around the community, express our appreciation for that program. Very, 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 very appreciative, because I think there's going to be results that are coming out of that program, and I think we're going to start to see them more and more. I see actually one of the people that we invested in out of Shark Tank, Raja, is actually up here, and I hadn't talked to her in a while, so she just popped up and caught my attention. So I wanted to make sure and recognize her while I was there. Before I get too far along, I also want to recognize some, you know, my family members. I'm very, very fortunate, as Regent Hicks knows, being part of a entrepreneurial family. I'm in a position at times to be the point person, but in all reality, it is a family owned and operated businesses, and our operations really depend on the entire family as a whole. So I wanted to mention that. My family members that are here, I want to make sure and acknowledge them. I think my brother-in-law Jason is on. I saw him. That's Leslie's brother, an NMSU grad, and a private business owner in Albuquerque. And her parents are on, I believe, as well, Al and Francis Moorhead. One of the things that you'll realize, Leslie came from a family that are private business owners. She grew up in a household with similar objectives that I grew up with. You know, a lot was demanded of us: strong discipline, strong faith. And so when we got married, it was an easy transition, I think, for both of us, and being in this community. So I didn't see anybody else, but I see Dr. Livens on, and I want to acknowledge him and segue into the fact that I want to acknowledge anybody else that's on that I'm missing that is associated with the New Mexico Chili Association or the New Mexico Chili Task Force. They are, if I have an advisory group, it is those people. Jim knows we've been working together probably for 25, 30 years. We are on the phone weekly, if not daily, talking about issues that affect our industry. And they are the people that I bounce ideas off of and that I look to for advice and support, and wonderful people. Gene Bacca, the member of the Bacca family that owns Bueno Foods, Lou Bayad, Bayad Chili. Always have a member of Miscan Foods, the largest jalapeno and green chili processor in the world. Wonderful, wonderful people to work with. And so I wanted to acknowledge them too. And you talk about entrepreneurs and innovation, it is that group. They are, other than Miscan Foods, they are all private business owners, and they are driving their business in a similar way that we are too. So I see my dad's on. I think this is his first Zoom meeting, so so that's good. Those of you that read the article realize our business began basically from an idea or a phone call, I guess, if you will, from my father to the McElhaney Company. And if you don't know, what we do in our food processing is we ferment peppers and salt into what is called a pepper mash that is the basis for Louisiana style hot sauce. My dad, looking for opportunities in the mid-70s, decided to pick up the phone and called the McElhaney Company, owners of Tabasco, and asked them if he could start growing peppers for them. They did, and to make a long story just a little longer, that's turned into our operation now. Basically from nothing, moving out, as I said, alfalfa bales out of a barn, putting in a meat grinder, and making pepper mash was the first day. So there's an innovator. I don't think that he planned on it turning into what it has, but it was certainly something that just was born out of an idea or a way of trying to make business a little better in the mid-70s. So I appreciate him being on. True entrepreneurial spirit, something he passed down to us, and something that I can't thank him enough for. My mom is no longer with us, but I certainly want to acknowledge her and her contributions, not only to the business, but the manner that she raised the three of us, myself, Joseph, and my sister, Christina. Certainly been missed, but many of you know her, so I don't really have to say a whole lot, but obviously the entrepreneurial spirit was a big part of her, and a huge asset to the community, and a huge committed person to Southern New Mexico. So we certainly miss her being here day to day, but her spirit lives on with us, certainly. So my sister Christina, I think, is on. And so I want to acknowledge her. We work together on a daily basis and overcome the challenges that any family business would have in trying to work in a world economy. So many of you have been through that. So I want to acknowledge her being on. And then my brother Joseph, he's on as well. The could never have a better legal advisor or just an advisor, period, in the world than him. Certainly one of the top legal minds in the state and probably really in the nation. So we're pretty close in age, so we kind of grew up together on the farm. And 40 years ago, 45 years ago, La Mesa was a long way away from Las Cruces, believe it or not. It's only 20 miles the way the crow flies, but it was a long way away, so we were each other's best and only friend. I guess we had to be best friends because we were the only ones that we had, so that was kind of the way that it worked out, and spent 10 years, wonderful years together, probably in that, before he went away to school and after we had moved here from California, so that was good. His wife Jennifer's on, I think, as well. So Jen, my sister-in-law, well-known, well-renowned author. She's up there as well. So I want to acknowledge all of them for being here. Also, the inspiration of my life, my daughter Alyssa is here, and I think she's sitting there with her fiance, Cole Wilson, and so they are there. I wanted to make sure and acknowledge them coming in. They are trying to make sure justice is served in Albuquerque, both attorneys. And then sitting next to me is the person I mentioned earlier, Leslie, my wife. Most of you know her and work with her on a daily basis, maybe even more so than me. So I mentioned my mom earlier, and I mentioned a little bit about the household Leslie grew up in. As you all know, there's not a more committed person to our community. Nobody more passionate about the organizations that she works with. And whether that be Nmsu or the city of Las Cruces or the state of New Mexico, she's very well known around the Thanksgiving table for giving anybody the evil eye that says anything negative about any of the organizations that or the locations we live at. Somebody says something bad about New Mexico, they're going to catch it from Leslie. Same with NMSU, same with Las Cruces. So, and frankly, she's been the greatest supporter in my life, and you know, and like I said, moved seamlessly into our family and our family operation. And so, one of these days we'll steal her back. We're going to take her back from you guys at some point. So, but you all know her very, very well. I don't want to take a lot of time. I know that everybody's here and taking time out of your lives. I did want to mention a couple of things. I mentioned earlier about your support for agriculture, and I certainly appreciate that. The one other, I guess, theme that I hope that maybe that we'll look at and look forward to as we look at expanding what Arrowhead does for our students and for the young people in the local area is, I'm amazed. I guess it's a little bit different. The millennials, the Gen Xers, the young people, the students on campus now have so much access and are so motivated by imagination, and provides the opportunity to be unbelievable entrepreneurs. They have access to information, really from worldwide information. And again, working through Shark Tank and some of the other groups I've worked with at New Mexico State, I'm amazed at the ideas and the thoughts that they have. One thing I'd like to challenge us all with, and maybe the theme of I'm hoping that comes out of this a little bit, is the manner in which they are able to convert those ideas or implement those ideas into successful careers and successful lives. The imagination and ideas is a great starting point, but we all know, I think the statistics say that 9 out of 10 new businesses are going to fail. And it's not going to fail because they weren't good ideas. They're going to fail because we were unable to capture that idea and put it into a process that is functioning and that provides a good lifestyle for the owner. So I'm hoping we do that. We talk a lot about soft skills and foundation skills and those types of things. But I'm very, very hopeful that maybe that's the next step that we look at doing. And I know Kathy, we've talked a lot about it. They've made taken some steps to improve those types of things. But I think that's one of the whole things. And I'm hoping that this recognition more than anything really highlights Arrowhead again and what they do, and that we're able to use that as a springboard to expand and improve that program. There are a million people on this, that are millions, but there's a lot of people on this call that I really, really would like to acknowledge. Obviously, we don't have the time to do that, but certainly understand that I really, really appreciate you being there, taking the time, and look forward to talking to you in person again once we can go back to normal. So a couple of things I did not mention, I do want to mention. It's extremely important. We have 3 major managers that have been working with us for 20 years. Our production manager, our quality control manager, and our CFO, if you will. And they are as responsible for this as anybody. Again, they came in kind of as a team within a couple of year period. They've been together for 20 years. Outstanding community members. A lot of you probably don't know them by name, but believe me, they're the reasons that our organization is as successful as it is. And so I kind of wanted to make sure and make mention of them. But again, thank you very, very much for this opportunity. All the deans, all the administrators, everybody on the call, I really, really appreciate you coming on. And again, believe me, New Mexico State has given me a lot more than I've ever been able to give back to them. So again, thank you for your time and appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cervantes. Well, now we would like to open the reception to those attendees who would like to say a few words. Now's the time that if you would like to speak, please raise your hand and we will admit you one at a time. To start things off, Mario Mocha. NMSU's athletics director, nominated Mr. Cervantes for this award. Director Mocha, would you please start us off?
Yeah, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, good, good. Well, I don't know who first of all, there's two regents on here and the chancellor, so I got to get rid of half of my speech, but I will forge on. I don't know who the young guy was in the chili field, but I'm glad that we're here to have a few minutes to speak about Dino Cervantes. And Dino, congratulations on the induction into the 2020 Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame, a richly deserved honor. So congratulations. Now, you know, Dino is a few years older than me. So we did not cross paths at New Mexico State. And many people have said we wouldn't have anyway because Dino actually went to class. But nevertheless, I'm sorry that I missed him there. You know, you hear a lot about Dino's business acumen, and that's wonderful. But I'm going to talk about some of the qualities that, you know, spurred me on to nominate him, and my relationship with him. First of all, he is unbelievably patient because I have asked nothing short of 100 times. Now, what exactly do you do with the chilies again? And it's like he answers every time the same way. And he's like, you know, he never says, "Are you an idiot?" Because I've explained this to you 99 different times. But number one, he's unbelievably patient. Now, two, he is a phenomenal human being. And everybody on here that knows Dino knows that. He is my version of George Bailey on It's a Wonderful Life. Okay. You know, there's plenty of times, and Dino knows this, when I may be overly passionate about an issue, and I'll call him at all hours and send him texts, and then he'll call and, you know, the proverbial talk me off the ledge. So he has been a tremendous counselor, but he is been wonderful. And Joseph, I'm not going to say that you're his version of Mr. Potter, okay? I would never call you out like that so close to the session. But you know, here's the other thing that Dino brings to the table. You know, we've hired several basketball coaches, and Aggie basketball is very important to this community. And some ADs, when they have to make a big hire, they just go out and do it on their own. And, you know, they bring the thing to the chancellor, and that's how it gets done. Well, I like to, you know, study different people, and who do I trust? Who do I think has a level head that, you know, can see through different aspects of people and give me feedback? You know, I know this is my deal, but you know, there's a few guys, and Dino has been the one guy on our basketball hires that has been consistent. There's only two of them, right, Dino? I mean, he's the one of them who's been there. So let me just tell you what Dino's done. All right. When I first got here, everybody was complaining because the previous 9 years, the Lobos and the Aggies, our record was 12-24. And over the last 4 years, we're 12-4. So we kind of flipped it. So Dino has been a huge part of the hires of, you know, Paul Weir and Coach Jans. And I give him a lot of credit because I do count on his advice a lot. So with that said, you know, from day one, Orlando has always been my favorite Cervantes because he is right. He goes to every baseball game, and Orlando, I give you all the credit for figuring out Zoom because I still got to get somebody to put me on this dang thing. So congratulations. You know, my closest neighbor is Tina, his sister. I could hit her house with a baseball. So she's obviously been a longtime favorite. Everybody knows January and February during the session, Joseph is my favorite Cervantes. And the other times, it's obviously Leslie, because I rely on her and she treats me very terribly like a little brother who's always done something wrong. But today is Dino's day. So Dino, congratulations. Thanks for all you do. Certainly your financial support of the Aggies is wonderful, but your emotional support is something that I personally appreciate. So thanks for letting me talk for a few minutes. And Dino, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Director Mocha. Speaking next will be Dr. Luis Cifuentes, Vice President for Research and Dean of the Graduate School. Dr. Cifuentes, if you're ready.
Good evening, everybody. Dino, let me be the first on behalf of the Office of the the Vice President for Research and Dean of the Graduate School to congratulate you for being inducted into the Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame. I also want to make sure that everybody understands the incredible work that Kathy and Arrowhead have done to create this award. And when she came to me, this is why I felt that the VPR's office needed to be part of this. So my job as a VPR, very simply, is to create the fertile environment for ideas to be generated in offices and computer labs and laboratories and in the field. And you talked about that, Dino, and you talked about how important it is for our students to make that as part of into a career. And as a land-grant institution, we have to take those ideas and create a public impact. And a lot of that has to do with economic development. And the cog that makes all that work is the entrepreneur. And you, Dino, are a wonderful ambassador for this award, for NMSU, and for what Kathy envisioned when she came to me with this award. So to you, to Leslie, to your family, congratulations and have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you, Dr. Cervantes. We'll now recognize any of those who have posted in the chat or who have raised their hand and would like to make remarks. And if I remember correctly, I saw a pretty excited hand back over in Dino's square.
So let's have Leslie say some words.
I thought he was telling you, listen.
Come here.
Hi, everybody. I just, I can't let the moment pass because I feel sometimes like Dino's our silent hero in the family. I mean, the rest of us, yeah, you're silent. The rest of us get to be in the forefront. We get to be, a face, more of a face. And yet Dino's just behind the scenes cranking it out. But I can't let that moment go by to tell you that, 33 and a half years of marriage has been full of innovative thinking. I can promise you that. Every day is a new day on an idea. And I knew I was in trouble we hadn't even been married a year. It was 1987 and Dino was working for Hormel and they had a contest. Come up with a new product. And Dino came home and said, I'm entering this contest. I have new products that Hormel could make a lot of money on. So I said, what are you going to submit? So he said, the two that are going to win. And he submitted the jalapeno hot dog and the sweet tamale in a can. And neither of them won. So I'm really, really happy that he is much more successful at producing chili peppers than he was at selecting Hormel's next $1 million product. So, but as Dino pointed out, I grew up in a household of entrepreneurial thinking. I married into a house of entrepreneurial thinking. It's all I really know. In fact, in my father's words, he would say, yeah, you're going to major and study goddamn business because that's all we know. So that's what we did. And that's what we do. And I am very, very proud of Dino. I'm so happy to just sit with him and tell him that I've watched you all of these years just be our hero in the family and work so hard to not just support the family that he mentioned, but hundreds of employees and families in the Valley by giving them jobs. And I think at the end of the day, if we're questioned, what did you give back? Dino's list is going to be very, very long. So I just, just being the lucky one who gets to be married to Dino, I just wanted to say congratulations and how much I love you, Dino.
Thank you. And I will point out there are jalapeno hot dogs out there now, just before my time. So.
Thank you so much, Garrett.
Of course.
Great. How about Joseph next? I'll unmute you.
Is that me?
Go ahead, Joseph.
I think we only have about 10 minutes left on this program, but it's going to take me about 30 minutes to undo all the damage that Mario did. let's go back a little bit. Mario compared Dino to George Bailey in A Wonderful Life. Now, the last time we were at a basketball game in the Barbara Hubbard room in front of all the Aggie supporters, Mario compared me to Archie Bunker from All in the Family. Now, and then the funny thing is that Dan and Mario sit down with me and complain about the fact that NMSU doesn't get the same budget UNM does. Who got the last laugh there, guys? All right. So Dino, you may be George Bailey in A Wonderful Life, and I may be Archie Bunker, but you're my kid brother, and I still get to give you a hard time because that's what older brothers get to do. I got to tell you, Dino, not only do we have to undo all the damage Mario did tonight, we've got to undo the damage you did, Dino. You talked about this wonderful love affair you had with Leslie, and I wrote down the words you used to describe your courtship. You said it was, quote, an easy transition, close quote. Boy, that just really pulls at the heartstrings, doesn't it, folks? I mean, can't you really feel the love from an easy transition? Man, Jennifer's on this call, and if I had said that, I would not be coming home tonight. So,
Don't you have to be in Santa Fe now?
What you all don't probably see enough is the love and the romance there. Dino doesn't come home at 5 o'clock when you're an entrepreneur. He doesn't come home at 6 or 7 o'clock. He comes home at 8 or 9 o'clock. And there are no Saturdays or Sundays on the farm. And I've never once ever heard Leslie complain about that, ever. Because she knows that's what Dino does. He was my kid brother. He said we grew up in La Mesa. My mom and dad, my dad's with us on the call tonight. This is his first Zoom call. It took me about 4 hours today to try and figure out how to set this up with him. So we should appreciate him very much. He is the #1 Aggie. It's been tough for me, folks. I got to tell you, it's been rough. Jennifer, Dino, Leslie, all Aggies in the family. And then you got a Lobo, and I'm shamed. I'm incessantly shamed in the family. But Dino and I grew up together in a different time in a different place when there were no cell phones, and so we entertained ourselves. I tell folks, Dino and my favorite 2 toys were climbing pecan trees and the fact that we had ready access to gasoline on the farm. And you can do all kinds of great things when you have access to gasoline on the farm. So the fact that we're both still standing here with most of our appendages is pretty impressive, but we were each other's best friends. We spent the days fishing and riding horses and riding motorcycles. And when we weren't working, we were together and having fun. And the difference is that I never really appreciated until Dino was an Aggie that Dino had leadership skills. And I only really realized that Dino had leadership skills when I found out he was president of his fraternity. And then, my dad and I had to come find him a few times. But that's all part of the Aggie romance, is that ATO presidency. So he showed those early skills as a great leader, and I began to see a whole other side of him. What we should say too about Dino is Dino was an exceptional athlete, and I think that was a very changing part of his life. Dino was a starting basketball player for Las Cruces High School. He was a terrific athlete and remains a terrific athlete. And I'll just tell you, I think that shaped him in a big way. I think Dino missed his calling. Dino should have been a coach, Mario. And Dino would have made an exceptional coach because if you walk the farm and if you walk the plant, you walk our business, that's what he is. He's a coach. He encourages people. I've never seen him achieve the success he has by screaming at people, by hollering at people, by throwing things. I don't know that I've ever heard him curse. Dino does it by being a leader and by being a person of example. And that's what you want from a coach. That's the kind of leader he is. And that's why he's achieved the success he has. In what I do for a living, I spend my life looking for leaders. I've had a really hard time finding them. In my experience in life, there are very, very few effective, successful leaders. I could probably count them on 1 or 2 hands. Dino counts. He's been successful at what he does. He does it in his own way. You all know the way he does it, and we're really blessed to have him in our family. And it's a great privilege to call him my kid brother and my best friend. So congratulations, Dino.
Thank you, I think.
Looks like Dean Flores has his hand raised.
Good evening. Congratulations, Dino. It is a great pleasure for us to see that you receive this this award. And the importance of this award right now is because of what you represent to New Mexico. New Mexico needs more of the businesses like yours. We need more value added. We need entrepreneurship. And as a matter of fact, this is one of the things that we are asking our students. And we want our students to come and have some entrepreneurship training. And this is critical. Since I first came here 4.5 years ago, the first thing that they told me is you need to meet Dino Cervantes. And I did. And every time we are in the college and we need a committee for selecting a new faculty member or a new project, your name always comes. And we always ask you, and you always say yes. And we really appreciate that because your vision is extremely important for the future of New Mexico. And this is how, and the support that you have given the College of Aces and the support that you're currently giving to the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Food and Agricultural Systems is very critical. Congratulations, Dino, and we are very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. I appreciate it very much.
Now I believe we'll be moving to Alyssa.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Dino's daughter, the one and only.
You got it right the first time.
Yeah, what most of you may not know is actually we come from all women on the Cervantes side. Him and Joseph are really the only two men. And then they have all daughters. Tina has all daughters. And so their lot in life is to be surrounded by women, and they handle it with grace and a lot of love, which we appreciate. But what's been a constant theme today is that my dad is an innovator. He's grown the family operation to manufacturing and producing chili mash that's sold globally. And I know my mom keeps asking him when he's going to think about retiring. And she's probably laughing at that. She wants to travel and do fun things. And I don't think my dad is slowing down anytime soon. For those of you who know him, he's always coming up with new methods for farming, working with Nmsu in the community to do production innovation and agricultural innovation. And so I think that is not stopping anytime soon. But what I wanted to say is what constantly impresses me about my dad is that although he received his education from Nmsu in business, really most of what he does on a day-to-day basis is self-taught. His agricultural background, his farming background, learning the manufacturing side of business, seeking out resources to learn about regulations, which we know there are many that exist in the food world. Those are all things that my dad either sought out from others or has researched and learned himself. And that's really an impressive attribute because many people, and especially I know my generation, we want answers and we want them fast, and we're not always willing to take the time to invest in learning and educating ourselves. So it's a great thing and a great honor for my dad to have that attribute and give it directly back to the community, not only Las Cruces in New Mexico, but all the people that have his products around the world. And if this year has taught us anything, it's that we need to appreciate the necessities in our day-to-day life, and that not only exists in healthcare and healthcare providers, but also in those who feed our world and feed our tables. So thank you for that, Dad. Thank you, Nmsu, for honoring him. And we love you.
Thanks, honey. That was very nice. Those of you can tell she got most of her personality from her mother. The kindest heart you've ever met in the world exists in that little girl. So thanks again.
I believe I see another raised hand from Dean Hoffman.
Yeah, Dino, as Dean of the College of Business, I just want to tell you, you've made us all proud. And you've done so much for the community, so much for NMSU. And you just represent our college in such a special way. And as someone who's grew up around a family business and entrepreneurs, I just have all the respect in the world for how you run your business, how you conduct yourself, and how much you just have given back to everyone around you. So a big congratulations from myself and the College of Business. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dean. Thanks for being here.
All right. Well, if anyone else would like to speak, feel free to raise your hand and we'll get you in the call. Otherwise,
Regent
Dino, do you have?
Devasalli, you go ahead
Chris?
and unmute yourself. I can unmute you. There you go. All right, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations, Dino. I am so proud of you, and you're so well-deserved honor today. I just wanted to add something to what everybody else has said. I'm not going to repeat it, of course. But I was talking to a couple of friends of mine who are retired faculty from PGL at NMSU. And I was telling them about today's event, and they wanted to make sure to let you know how grateful they were during their term at NMSU for all of the work that you did to make sure that research funding was provided for Chile research, because that's what they worked on. And so Dr. Gopalan and Dr. Bacca wanted me to tell you thank you and congratulations. And they also mentioned that Emma Jean always showed up at all the poster events and made sure that everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing. So that was a little piece of nostalgia on their part. So congratulations again. And I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you, Regent.
Doing a sweep for any raised hands. If not, Dino, if you have any closing remarks to leave us with.
Just a couple of rebuttals, just specifically to Mario. So that you guys know, I'm sure over the next 24 hours, he will take a picture of a bottle of hot sauce in Yemen or Hong Kong and send it to me and say, do you supply them? And so, yes, he does pay attention to what we're actually doing. And someday we'll actually teach him that red and green chili peppers come off of the same plant. We're working on that, but that could take a while. But been a great friend. I want everybody to notice he's younger, but he's got more gray hair. So we'll kind of leave that alone. But great friend, wonderful asset to NMSU. I mentioned Dr. Libin earlier. I want to acknowledge him, been very special for 20, 25 years of my life. And again, kind of a conduit to the College of ACES for his time there. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody, and I really don't mean to. And again, I appreciate everybody's time here. So many friends, neighbors, colleagues, researchers. Again, thank you all for taking the time out. And once again, special appreciation to Kathy and the people at Arrowhead. And I don't remember if I mentioned or not, but I did want to acknowledge the work that Kevin Boberg had done in establishing Arrowhead Center and taking his vision and kind of projecting or looking back 10 years, 12 years. I don't even know how long it's been, Kathy, but again, I think he should be mentioned and we should recognize his efforts here. So again, thank you to everybody in the administration of Arrowhead and best of luck on continued success.
Thank you, Dino. Well, this has just been an amazing virtual event. My face hurts a little bit from laughing and smiling so much. On behalf of Arrowhead Center and the Office of the Vice President for Research, we would like to thank all of you who have come together this evening to honor Dino Cervantes. We know that his contributions to this community and to those who are privileged to work with and know him will continue for many years to come. So thank you all again, and stay well and safe.
Congratulations, Dino.
Congratulations, Dino.
Good show.
Good job, Dino.
Good to see you, Orlando.